But I've also got to mention HMP Manchester, which is situated, guess where? You guessed it right, Manchester. But that's formerly known as Strangeways. And that became famous or infamous through the HMP Strangeways riots. And everyone will remember the documentaries, the likes of Alan Lord that were on that one. And they rioted for weeks on end because of the prison system and the way that the prisoners were treated. But that riot actually changed the dynamics of the prison system, and the prisoners actually got a lot more freedom within the prison, meaning you got more time out your pad, you got a few more essentials, and that was all down to them lads rioting for the prisoners. And in the end, they suffered for it because they got extra time added on. They'd done a lot of time after that. They would have gotten some beatdowns in the segregation units. But they did change the prison system. But HMP Manchester is also a very dangerous and volatile prison because it has a Category A unit which houses the men out of the prisons that I've just mentioned. All of them 5 Category A high security prisons: Frankland, Wakefield, Whitemore, Long Lawton and Full Sutton. All of these prisoners get moved around in a circuit and they get dispersed, which is why it's called the dispersal system. And some of them end up in the Category A unit in Manchester. And again, if you end up in Manchester on the Category A unit, you normally transport on a Category A van. It's the vans with a big orange stripe down the side with police transport to and from the prisons or the courts, whichever. But these are the type of prisoners that are kept in here, high security, high risk inmates. And I was only going to mention them 6 prisons, but you've got to mention this one for the simple fact that Britain's most notorious prisoner is currently housed here, which is HMP Woodhill. And that is 2 seconds because I didn't actually put this one down. So we'll see exactly where Woodhill is situated. It's in Milton Keynes, Buckinghamshire. And it's a Category A prison, but it's got a unit on it which houses the likes of Charles Bronson. And these prisoners are what you would class as highly challengeable, if that's the word I'm looking for. Prisoners that are high risk, prisoners that are hard to manage, are kept in the unit in HMP Woodhill. And Charles Bronson's in there at the minute, and I think he feels, or he must feel comfortable there because he doesn't seem to want to progress and try to get out of prison. And every single prison I've mentioned there, Charles Bronson has been in them, and Charles Bronson has terrorised them, and that's why subsequently he's still in prison now, stuck in the unit in HMP Woodhill. But he'll have another parole hearing coming up probably next year now, because I'm sure it was an 18-month or 2-year knockback. But again, if he really wanted to, he would progress through the system. There's only one person or one thing that ever stops you progressing through the system, and that is yourself. And I know because I've been in these prisons myself. I've been in HMP Frankland. I know how the system works. I'm a lifer myself, IPP. And a lot of people that are still stuck in prison years after tariff, a lot of it is down to their own behaviour, or the majority of it is. But obviously if you've fought against the system in the past, you've disrupted the prison system will have the final say, and the prison system will disrupt your life. If you have disrupted their dynamics of the prisons, you've rioted in the prisons, you've smashed the prisons up, you've battered screws, you've battered governors, you've took governors hostage. Look at Charles Bronson, prime example.